All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're diving deep into crypto news headlines,
Sounds good.
focusing on Bitcoin. And wow, there's been some action lately, right?
Definitely lots going on.
We've got 3 articles here that really stood out to me. So I'm excited to hear your take on them.
Looking forward to it.
Cool. So the first one is from CoinMarketCap,
Uh-huh.
and it's all about Bitcoin's crazy price swings.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Bitcoin surged like 44% after Trump won the election.
It's crazy how much political events can move the market, right?
It's wild. I mean, 44%, that's huge.
Absolutely.
But then shortly after that, there was this massive $500 million crypto liquidation event.
Yeah, in just 24 hours, too. Can you imagine?
Oh, those traders must have been sweating.
For sure.
So can you break down what actually happens during one of those liquidations?
Sure. So basically, when a trader doesn't have enough funds to cover their potential losses and the market goes against their bet,
Oh, I see.
their position is automatically closed out to prevent further losses. It's a big part of leverage trading.
Right, leverage trading. That's pretty common in the crypto world, isn't it?
Very common.
So this is like a safety net, kind of?
Exactly. Prevents people from going into a crazy amount of debt.
Makes sense.
Now, the article points to a few things that probably caused this price drop, like tensions in the Middle East.
Right. And there's all the uncertainty around U.S. economic policies too, right?
Yeah, all that is making investors nervous, so they go looking for what they see as safer assets.
Bitcoin is like this financial weather vane. It reacts to every gust of global uncertainty.
I like that. It really does. And it's still seen as a risky asset by a lot of people, so.
Yeah, when things get shaky, Bitcoin takes a hit.
Exactly. But Bitcoin has a history of these ups and downs, remember?
Oh yeah, for sure. But this article mentions something called parabolic runs. What are those exactly?
Parabolic run is when the price shoots up incredibly fast.
Like a rocket taking off.
Exactly, straight up. And historically, those runs are followed by corrections, sometimes like 80% even.
80%. Yikes. So are we in for another one of those?
It's possible, something to be aware of.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
But remember, Bitcoin has bounced back from every correction so far. It's resilient.
Okay, so we've got political surprises, huge liquidations, and maybe another correction on the horizon. Phew.
The crypto world never sleeps.
That's for sure. And speaking of big players making waves, our next article from Cointelegraph is all about MicroStrategy.
Oh, yeah, they just bought a ton more Bitcoin.
Like a ton, $5.4 billion worth, bringing their total holdings to 386,700 Bitcoin.
It's mind-boggling.
Seriously, they're going all in on Bitcoin, even with all the volatility.
They seem really confident in the long term.
So they're using Bitcoin as their main treasury asset, right?
Yeah, like companies traditionally hold gold bonds.
Interesting. So it's like they're saying, we believe in Bitcoin more than these traditional assets.
That seems to be the message.
Makes you wonder what they know that we don't, right?
Right, and they're not alone either. Semler Scientific is another company making big Bitcoin purchases.
So this is becoming a trend.
Definitely seems like it.
This is where things get really interesting. Our last article from NPR talks about Scott Bessent.
Trump's nominee for Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, and get this, he's a former protege of George Soros. Talk about an unexpected twist.
A Wall Street guy with ties to both sides of the aisle, stepping into a powerful economic role.
This could really shake things up.
No doubt everyone is wondering what this means for the crypto market.
He comes from traditional finance, but now he's in a position to shape regulations that could impact cryptocurrencies in a big way.
Yeah, he can make it easier for them or harder. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm dying to know what his stance is on all this.
Well, the article mentions some of his past comments about the Fed and his support for Trump's economic policies. It's a mixed bag.
So we've got Bitcoin's wild ride, MicroStrategy making bold moves, and now a new Treasury Secretary with a really complex background.
It's a lot to take in.
It's like a crypto thriller unfolding in real time.
That's a good way to put it. This world is always changing and full of surprises.
That's what makes it so exciting, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The crypto world keeps you on your toes.
Before we get too carried away, though, let's take a minute to digest all this. What are the key takeaways here?
For me, it's just how unpredictable everything is. Political events, global tensions, big investments, and now a new Treasury Secretary who knows what he'll do.
It's a lot to process.
And that unpredictability is why staying informed is so important in this space. You got to be adaptable.
You're telling me.
And that's what we're here for, to help you make sense of it all.
Exactly.
As we dig into these articles, I keep thinking about Scott Bessent and what his appointment as Treasury Secretary could mean for crypto.
Yeah, me too. It's a big question mark.
Right. He's got this Wall Street background, but now he's in charge of economic policy for the whole country.
It makes you wonder how someone like that will approach crypto. you know?
I mean, he could bring a lot of clarity to regulations, maybe.
That would be great. We need some clear guidelines in this space.
Definitely. And with his background, he could be a bridge between traditional finance and the crypto world.
A bridge. I like that.
So we could see regulations that encourage innovation, but also address the concerns that people have.
That would be a nice change from the back and forth we've seen so far.
But remember, he's also talked about shaking things up at the Fed, so he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely got some radical ideas.
Which makes you wonder how he views traditional institutions in a world that's becoming more decentralized.
Especially with crypto being such a big part of that decentralization.
Right, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
How so?
On the one hand, having someone with his knowledge could lead to a better understanding of crypto at the government level.
Which could lead to more crypto-friendly regulations, right?
Exactly. More investment, more development, all good things.
That sounds promising.
But then there's the other side. His ties to Trump and his America First stance could make him more protectionist.
I see what you mean.
So maybe he'll prioritize the US dollar and traditional banks, which could actually slow down the growth of crypto.
It's hard to know what to expect.
Totally. It's another layer of complexity in an already complex world.
And don't forget, there are other forces at play too, like global events, the economy as a whole, even new technology.
All true. It's important to keep the bigger picture in mind.
Speaking of the bigger picture, what are the key takeaways here for our listeners who are trying to stay ahead in the crypto game?
First and foremost, Bitcoin is volatile, always has been, always will be.
So don't put in more than you can afford to lose, right?
Exactly. And be ready for the price to go up or down quickly.
Got it. What else?
Keep an eye on what's happening in the world, wars, elections, economic policies. All of it can affect crypto.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Watch what the big players are doing, like MicroStrategy. Their moves can tell you a lot about where the market might be going.
It's crazy to think how much crypto has grown. I remember when it was just a fringe thing.
Now it's mainstream. Companies are investing billions. Governments are trying to figure out how to regulate it.
And we've got this new Treasury Secretary who could change everything.
It does feel like we're at a turning point. Crypto is becoming a force to be reckoned with.
So what do you think? What's next for crypto?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We're all watching this unfold in real time.
It's an exciting time to be following all this, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But let's bring it back to our listeners for a minute.
Good idea.
What are your thoughts on all this? What stood out to you? What questions do you still have?
Share your thoughts with us on social media. We want to hear from you.
This is a journey we're all on together, so let's keep the conversation going.
It's crazy to think about all the different forces at play here with Bessent, you know?
Yeah, like what part of his background is going to come out on top?
Right. Is it Wall Street Bessent, Trump advisor Bessent, or even like that indirect connection to philanthropy through Soros?
It's a real wild card situation.
It is. Will his financial expertise lead him to see the potential in crypto? You know?
And maybe push for regulations that encourage innovation and stuff.
Right. Or will he go the America First route and be wary of anything that challenges the dollar?
Good question, especially with crypto being so decentralized and global.
This reminds me of how the U.S. has always been a leader in new technology, like the internet,
Or personal computers.
even the space race. It all started here.
Right, and each time the U.S. had to decide, are we embracing the future or sticking with the old ways?
This feels kind of similar with crypto. It's a whole new way of thinking about money and value.
Totally. So will the U.S. be a leader in this new world or get left behind?
And it's not just the U.S., it's a global thing now.
Oh yeah, countries all over are figuring out what to do about crypto.
Some are going all in, others are being more cautious.
It's like a race to see who can make crypto work best for their economy.
And the stakes are high.
For sure. And it's not just governments, it's businesses, investors, everyone.
It's a really exciting time, but also confusing. So many possibilities.
Exactly. And that's why we do this show, to help make sense of it all.
To break down the headlines and figure out what it all means.
So what resonated with you from these articles?
What opportunities excite you? What worries you?
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them with us on social media.
Let's keep this conversation going.
It's a journey we're all on together, learning as we go.
And remember, the crypto world isn't going anywhere.
It's here to stay, it's changing things, and it's going to keep challenging us.
So stay curious, stay informed, and get involved.
The future of finance is being written right now, and you can be a part of it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into crypto.
See you next time for more exploration of this fascinating world.